Robot tarot is an element of funny. That's right. Robot tarot is an element of funny. All right. Now we're getting into the good stuff. Like you may have seen from the video before, we're talking about the MBTI. We're talking about the 0 point, but I've got something new here. Last time we were working on the map of consciousness, and I wasn't sure how it would apply. But guess what? What are the frequencies that we're dealing with? Okay? Or what could they be? They'll be everything. But if we focus on what could they be, we're going to deal with the map of consciousness, which I spoke about before. So we're going to use that as our input, okay? We're going to use that as our input for our transverse wave. We're going to focus it to the Planck length with our consciousness to get the longitudinal wave, all right? So we're going to transfer this from the world we see to the world we want it to be. Okay. In case you haven't been paying attention to the whiteboard here, we got something new. I mean, we always got something new, but this is the good stuff, because last time you probably saw these the MBTI Foursquare here, and you're like, that's nothing. That's a bunch of baloney. Okay, I got you. Well, let's look at the next one. The first one was the ENTJ, right? You can see this one's reversed, and this is the MBTI total personality of the INTP. Well, as you can see by the graphic, the INTP generally is an engineer. That's usually what they do professionally. In some capacity, there'll be some type of engineer. Well, what do engineers like to do? What's their favorite thing to do? To break shit. They love to break shit because you can learn from it. It's also a power trip. Now, the engineer is my unconscious. Okay, so don't think I'm hating. I love the engineer. They're my best friend, but I know them very well. Sometimes they can appear as a bully. Typically, they're not the school bully that we're talking about. Typically, these are the more adult bullies. These are the professional bullies, okay? But the idea is still the same. The idea that the bully can't awaken until the empath gets their power. This will apply to everybody, okay? So what's happening is that the bully really exists at the lower frequencies, right? And the quality of the bully for the engineer is very interesting because it's my ego. The engineer's unconscious is my ego. So that's why it's so profound for this personality type in particular, because the engineer's ego is an introvert, but their bully's an extrovert. You see where the power comes from? You don't see it coming until it's there. So let's look at the crisis, and I'm going to put it down in the description. Okay. The crisis, this is scene 3, basically, and I'll read it. It's actually a very easy read for a script because there's a lot to fill in, and we're going to fill in with the bully. So let me read it. Crisis takes place at exterior cave night. So they're at the outside of the cave at night. The villain and hero race to the entrance of the crystal cave, both with leg weights, where hero sees glowing blue mushrooms, which hero picks and puts in fanny pack as a slow, angry villain arrives, complaining about worsening eyesight and loss of energy. Remember from the first 2 scenes, something's going on here with their consciousness. Well, the bully, he is not accepting his ego. He doesn't want, the bully diminishes the other, which is always an empath. Typically, they bully the empath, diminishes them, and the empath apologizes for their existence, and therefore the bully is happy. Their ego is satisfied by the diminishing of of the empath. So what we want to do, okay, is in this particular scene, it's very clear, you know, that the villain's going to be the bully, right? And so it's pretty much open, right? At this one, we can write the details however we want. I mean, it doesn't, if you read to the next scene, it doesn't really interfere. So what tarot card has to do with the bully? I know the magnets. Here. It's the High Priestess. Take a look. Let's take a look at this bad boy. It's pretty cool. Oh, these will be available online. The High Priestess. The High Priestess is feminine energy, but it's all about the balance between this dark side and the light side, right in the middle, balancing the two. Okay. I'm not going to tell you where the high priestess is sitting on a throne between what these two columns are, B and J. Look it up. It's its own story. So this is the card that's going to represent this scene and this relationship. So far, we don't know. I mean, now it's looking like the villain is an INTP, right? I don't know if that should still be the case, right? But I think, I think it's interesting. Should the hero be an ENTJ? I don't think so at this point. They're not different enough. Now, typically, like you see the hero and the anti-hero, typically the protagonist and the antagonist are mirror images of each other, right? They're both very powerful. The mirror image in this particular case, right, of the INTP would be an ESFJ, which are usually firefighters. No surprise. Now, we can get into that. Nor this being, right, if he were in the hero position, obviously, it's mirrored on both sides. And then the artist, the technical artist, is a superego. So, hero as a firefighter, perhaps. That would be the most consistent with this philosophy. But let's see if let's focus some life force energy and see if that brings any light to this matter, shall we? Yes, these gloves are dirty because I use them for door knocking. if you'd like to leave a comment, if you had any insight as to the answer to this. I don't at this moment, but that's because I'm in a different flow state. Upon reflection, I may, but upon reflection, you may as well. And please leave that in the comment below. Anything else I should say about this? Or is it good? All right then, Robot Tarot.